cold wind felt invigorating upon my flesh, the air crisp and chilly. I opened my eyes and stood within a strange, yet familiar place. The chamber of a monastery, candle-filled alcoves to my left and right. Ahead of me, an open door looked out upon an amazing mountain vista. In the background I could hear the nearby sounds of resonating bells being rung, and closer sound of deep rhythmic chanting. I could see others around me too, people from all corners of the world, alliance and horde alike. Yet most were different. Hefty, bear-like folk who walked with a heavy but somehow dexterous gait, their mannerisms relaxed and yet always alert. One of them greeted me, his eyes ancient, his voice soothing. I am Master Height. Welcome back to the Peak of Serenity. Oh, I know what you will say, that you have not been here before, that it was just dreams. But it was all real, whether you recall it fully or not. Since you were a child, you have been coming to this place in training, and before that too. You are more than just that body, after all. More than just a young Tauren man living in a certain era of history. The celestial spirits bring us to many bodies, in many times, each life seemingly separate, but all ultimately one. In some, you have been here, studying with us, mastering our ways. In others, you have delved into vastly divergent lives. All just masks we put on. Still, welcome back. I pondered this strange and foreign concept as I was led off to my training. This time I felt I was here in the flesh, truly. All of it felt so real as the master led me around the temple grounds. Thus, I began my training in full, learning the secrets of these wise ancient people called the Pandaren. I studied lore, learning the arts of calligraphy and philosophy as I read and transcribed the sacred scrolls. I sat patiently as wise teachers taught the art of meditation, learning to quiet the mind whose thoughts had so often troubled me. And I began to study the combat arts with my fellow monks, learning to punch, to kick, but also to balance and breathe, and how to properly master the body, so that it could be both weapon and tool for spiritual growth. And as the core teaching of all, I was taught to quiet the restless mind, to silence the ravenous and monkey-like thoughts that always seemed to run along with my awareness. In a clear state, free of burdensome worries and desires, I was taught that anything could be achieved. This was essential to mastery of the body. It would allow you to keep a clear head during even the most chaotic combats. Beyond the cage of the mind, I was told, lies everything else. All the powerful energies of the universe, which are always around us but are blocked by our thoughts, our attachments and ideas of who we are. Atop the mountain peaks, I not only came to believe this, but to know it. One day I stood upon the edge of the monastery grounds, overlooking the grand mountains around me. It was so easy here to feel liberated from thought, as if the towering peaks themselves took away the clutter of the monkey mind by their sheer enormity. Here I sat. As instructed by Master Height, I allowed my thoughts to flow down into the earth below me, directing them like a current into the ground. As the cool wind blew at my cheeks, I allowed my eyes to close and focused inward upon my breath and that singular point between my eyes. At first, it was difficult, my thoughts filled with lingering turmoil, doubts about my place in the world, my future, the varied events of my past. And when those quieted down, there were other thoughts. Random, whimsical thoughts on topics ranging from goblin engineering to cute animals, and then even odder thoughts strung together in haphazard ways and not feeling like my thoughts at all. I let all these flow by me like the clouds above, just as the masters had instructed. Then, in the darkness, my awareness collapsed to that unified point of observation, watching those thoughts fly by just like those clouds overhead, but attaching no significance to them whatsoever. I was the observer. Then, I was the observer of the observer. Then, for a perfect moment, I was aware of only being, only that I was. Not any of those external things that told me who I was. I was not a Tauren, not a monk studying the temple. Neither was I my gender or my upbringing, my tribe or my faction, nor even my opinions or my name. It all fell away, and I just was. It was then that I felt it, the essence of all things, the essence of who I was, all around me, inside of me at the same time. It cannot truly be described in words. But if I could, I would say that it was a powerful surge of loving energy, a rush that coursed through my being on more levels than just the experiential. I was the mountains. I was the Peak of Serenity and the monks inside. I was the world beyond as well, and yet I was none of these things in my totality. This realization only lasted an instant. Then, but even when I opened my eyes, I could feel it surging through me like an electrical stream. I knew then that this is what allowed the masters to heal the injured, to alter reality by will, to perform feats thought miraculous by most. I wore a deep smile upon my lips as I returned from my meditation. I knew that I would soon be returning to the world. It would be the same world, filled with chaos, violence, emotion, and conflict. Yet to me, it would be profoundly different, because it was I who had changed.